Good morning, everybody, and thanks for tuning in today. Quick disclaimer before we get into the video today. The folks at Smove did send me this lens for free, but I am in no way endorsed by them or being paid to do this review. I just saw a lack of reviews out there for this product, so I thought I'd make one. Be sure to stick around to the very end to get my final thoughts on it, and enjoy the video. Smove lens. So the folks at Smove sent me this. I didn't ask them to. I didn't order it. I got an email a few days ago saying, you've got a shipment on the way. I didn't even know Smove made a lens. And what's weird is if you go on their website and look through all their products, you don't see a Smove lens. If you search for Smove lens on Google, you can find a link to it, but it's not listed among their products. So I'm wondering if it's a beta test or something. They haven't quite offered it. I don't know. So I think we got two parts here. Comes with this little carrying case, and we've got the clamp, which holds it to your phone. We've got the other clamp, I don't know, two clamps, a microfiber cloth, and then this here is the lens, I presume. I believe it acts as a wide angle. It says conversion lens for mobile phone. I don't know what it's converting. Wide angle lens and a macro, so it doubles as both, I suppose. Let's see. All right, wide angle and macro lens. With the included clip, the lens can easily be attached for use and removed when not needed. Put the clip on the smartphone, okay? So yeah, these are two lens clips. Put the lens on the smartphone, screw the lens onto the clip until the lens is securely tightened. Once you do not need the lens, just unscrew the lens from the clip. So I guess you're supposed to leave the clip on? All right, let's see here. I'm gonna turn the camera around. Okay, so we got it turned around now, and this is the clip. So, first of all, I wanna see how it screws in here, because I don't, oh, okay, I see. All right, so we're gonna try this. We're gonna see how it works. I guess it goes on like this. I'm trying to put it on while I'm taping. How do I look? Okay, so we can see right now the wall portrait is being cut off on the right side, and we can only see a little bit past the back of the fan. I'll put this on. We can see the whole wall portrait. We can see, okay, so it is wider angle. Now to test the macro capabilities of it, let's see, we got some memory cards here. I've got my micro 64 gigabyte. If I take this off, if I unscrew this part, there we go. Then it becomes a macro. Okay, so now, let's check this out. Yes, that is a macro lens now. Quite the texture there. Let's look at my finger. Good stuff on it. We're gonna go to Home Depot and just test it out as we get a couple things that we need there. So let's go. All right, we're heading into aisle 42 to find air conditioning filters and hopefully fuses. So it works well as far as the single purpose it's intended for, which is giving you a wide angle view. Check out the filters we have. Now I just need to find the right size. All right, well, I got the filter, and now I'm just trying to find the fuse. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Looks about right. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that and hope it was informative. Let's talk about my final thoughts on the Smove lens. So I've had a few days to work with this now, a little bit beyond what you saw simply in that video, and I've got a pros and cons list to go over. First of all, pros. Love the case. The case probably has the best build quality out of anything in this kit. So take that for what you will. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the good things and the things I like about this. The lens comes with two different clips. I assume that gives flexibility maybe for different types of phones, although I only found one to work really well with my own phone, which is an iPhone 10. The lens does what it advertises. It gives you a nice wide angle view on your cell phone, or a nice macro view with the macro lens if you want to get really close up on some small objects. I think the advantages to this would be great for vlogging if you are wanting to get multiple people in your shot. As you saw in the video, you can see pretty much everything around me. Combined with the telescopic arm of the Smove, you just get the whole environment that you're in. So it's great to show the environment you're in or to get multiple people in your shot. And that is probably the biggest advantage I could see to this. Now, unfortunately, the pros kind of end there. Let's talk about the clamps real quick. First of all, there's no specification in the instructions as to what these clamps are for or what their intended use is with the differences. Now, I did find with my particular phone that this clamp, while it was a little bit easier to apply because it's got the spring, it didn't quite fit my phone as well. You'll notice that the back side of the clamp does not line up with the center of the lens side. Therefore, when you're going to put it on your lens, when you get it lined up perfectly, it's barely holding on to the other side of the phone and not necessarily always in a convenient location. So this mount I didn't find worked very well with my phone. Perhaps with other phones it would be the preferred option. This mount is the one I found worked better, and by simply slipping the corner of the phone into the clamp, you could easily push it onto the phone there and get it lined up like so. Now, you might have noticed in some of the footage that I took that occasionally you would see the gimbal in the corner of the frame, and I didn't
figure out exactly under what circumstances that happened, but it is definitely something you need to be aware of if you're using this for filming. Because just like seeing propellers in the corners of drone footage, we don't want to see the gimbal in the corner of our footage when we're using this wide-angle lens. You also might have noticed some vignetting and some blurriness in these shots if the lens wasn't on exactly right. And even when it was on exactly right, the distortion made for some softer edges around the corners of the frame. So that's something to consider and be aware of when you're using this type of lens. Now, the macro lens, I don't personally see much use for in my work. However, if you're going to be using it, you need to make sure that your phone is stable and always as parallel as possible to the thing you're filming. Because with any type of macro lens, it's very easy to get different parts of your subject out of focus if it's not on the same plane. Now, probably the biggest downfall to this lens is the build quality. Off the bat, it doesn't feel like a very high quality lens. It's kind of cheap plastic. I'm not even sure that the elements are glass. They might be, but not a very high quality glass to be sure. But on the second day of using it, I went to put the wide angle element onto the macro element. And as I turned it to finger tight, it automatically just slipped and continued to churn. And since then, these threads have been effectively stripped. Now, they're not stripped to the point where it won't hold on, it will. But they are stripped to the point to where I can continually churn it without it ever actually getting tight. So that's an issue, and I was disappointed to see that happen so easily. The other downfall is they seem to make it sound like in the instructions that you can use each of these lenses independently, and I thought maybe that's why they give you two clamps, so you could use the macro on one and the wide angle on another. However, what I came to find is that when you unscrew the wide angle element from the macro, the threads that connect the wide angle element to that macro lens are not the same threads that connect the lens to the clamp. And as a matter of fact, it won't fit on the clamp by itself at all. So there goes that theory. You're not going to be able to use these separately. They have to be combined together, and you're going to use it either as a wide angle lens or a macro lens. Now, in the instructions, they made it sound like you were going to be able to maybe leave the clamp on your phone full time and just remove the lens when you don't want to use it. However, as you might be able to tell just by looking at it, that's not exactly practical. Number one, you're not going to be able to talk very easily as it covers the microphone over the front side there. And the second you try to go and put it in your pocket, it's just going to slip right off. So whether or not that's what was intended, you certainly are not going to be able to do that. You are going to have to take off the whole assembly, keep it in its case when not in use, and put it on the phone specifically for those times that you want a wide angle view or a macro view. Some of the other downfalls I found, at least with my phone, is when using it on the front lens, which I found was really going to be the primary advantage to it, is for vlogging, is for when it is face back at you to show your environment, to get other people in the frame. But this particular clamp will cover your light sensor, so you need to manually adjust the brightness on your screen because it will get dim and dark thinking that there is no light in the ambient room and you won't be able to see anything when you're out filming. So in conclusion, guys, should you buy the Smove lens? Well, first of all, as I mentioned in the video, you can't just go on Smove's website and find a visible link to purchase the lens. The only way I was able to come across it was by searching Google for Smove lens, and then I was able to find an external link to that purchase page. On that purchase page, it lists the initial price for this at $79.99. And I'll tell you right now, if that was the case, this lens would not be anywhere close to worth it. However, it's on sale for $29.99. Is it worth $29.99? Well, for me, no. If you are in need of a wide angle lens that you're going to be using at very specific times, and you're okay with installing for those moments and uninstalling when you're not using it, then perhaps this would be a good affordable option for you. However, I'm not sure that it's practical for the majority of vloggers or iPhone videographers out there, and I'm sure there are better quality options on the market, although I haven't tested any myself. Anyway guys, hope that was helpful. Thanks again for the folks at Smove for sending me this lens. If you're considering buying this, I have linked the page below in the description as to where you can find it. And as always, please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that little bell icon so you get notified every time I upload. Appreciate you being here. We'll see you next time.
As I take these two lenses apart, what I came to find, oh crap,